The whole hemorrhoids thing we just totally
Oh God,
skipped over.
no.
So-
Are we gonna
I
talk
don't want
about
to talk
that?
about my hemorrhoid.
I can talk about my
Leave that one in. Leave it in. Okay, y'all.
Yeah.
What are we eating and drinking today?
I can go. It's what time is it right now? It is 8:22 in the morning, and in true samcha fashion, I am having a Terra beer
Yay!
at 8:30 in the morning,
Uh,
and then balance out that for health purposes. I have a bowl of tomatoes that I have
oh.
just been snacking on in Korea because tomatoes are just so sweet. They're almost like fruits here in Korea. So good.
I was gonna ask if the tomatoes there are just like elite.
They are supreme elite
Mm,
tomatoes. They're so good. So if you
I'm
ever come to
jealous.
Korea this time of year, I would highly recommend getting some tomatoes.
Okay. I also have some beer. I've got a Weinstefaner.
Mm.
Weinstefaner Vitus beer. And then for my snack, it's really more of a little meal. I've got some galbichim that my brother made. And I just got literally
Yum.
like one piece of the beef. Galbichim is like
Uh-huh.
a braised beef and kind of like a sweet and savory soy-based sauce. And some rice and some kimchi on the side.
Yummy. Oh, I'm
So,
so
like
jealous.
Galbichim and kimchi, like that
Yes.
combo.
And then the
Oh my
sauce
gosh.
mixed with the rice.
Yes.
And then
yes.
hit it
So
with
excited.
like crisp,
A crisp
cold beer.
Woo!
My God. You are
Perfection.
Living.
Okay. Wow.
Mhm.
Well, I didn't really get the memo, but I guess this is like technically what they call Korean rice beer. Although is
Yeah.
makgeolli rice beer? I thought it was just
Rice
like a
wine? Rice beer?
Yeah, I thought it
Makgeolli
was
is
like a rice.
makgeolli. Like,
Yeah,
rice
makgeolli is
alcohol.
on its own. We have makgu here. We love makgu on the pod.
is that the
This
passion
one's
fruit?
Yeah, what
passion
flavor?
fruit. So
Ooh.
good.
The
It's
new
so
drop.
good.
The
Yeah,
new
very,
drop.
very good. And then I too, look how cute these
Oh my
are. I too have
gosh.
some tomates. I didn't get these from Korea, but they are from
sorry.
Costco. They're actually very good.
Next best
and
after
then-
Korea.
Yeah, exactly. And then some
Costco.
kiwi.
Ooh.
Just some kiwi.
Yummy.
I love that we
Not
all have
helpful.
something Korean. Like Christine's got the Terra beer.
Yeah.
You got the
Uh-huh.
makgu. I've got the galbichim. Amazing.
Representing.
The
Yes.
balance.
Totally.
We are talking about our day jobs. So I know that it might seem like we're full-time podcasters at this point.
We're very professional.
Full-time. This is what we do for a living, but actually it does not pay the bills yet. It will. So we have day jobs. We have multiple jobs. We wear many hats, but we're going to talk about what we do for a living, how we earn a paycheck, and then we're going to probably explore some other spaces as we head into Icha and Samcha. But today's topic is about day jobs.
So exciting. We will make sure to not go too crazy even in samcha because we don't want HR calling us.
Or do we?
I know, or do we? But just, I mean, as you guys all know at this point, samcha, we go 3 rounds. Ilcha, Icha, and samcha, 1, 2, 3. We just go deeper and deeper as we drink, as we eat, as we chat. And so I think we're going to just start off by cheersing, per usual.
Cheers
Cheers.
to your cha. Megan's cheersing
Whatever.
her tomato bowl.
No.
Oh,
I
it's
put
your
the
makgeolli.
makgeolli.
Oh, you put it in a bowl.
That's very Korean.
That's very Korean. We'll start with just sharing what we do for work. I think we should try to describe it in the most simple way possible. There's this like, I saw a TikTok or a meme or something of like how you know that you're good friends when like you like literally have no idea what your friend does for work because like you don't talk about work.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
But I actually feel like I do have a good grasp. But who wants to go first in sharing what their day job is?
I can go. I have like
Okay.
a 10 word. Is it 10 words? We'll count it. Like a
Okay.
10 word,
I'll count.
5-second elevator pitch for what I do. So I'm a
Mhm.
program manager at a nonprofit that connects older adults to technology.
12 words.
Okay, so I'm a program manager at a nonprofit that connects older adults to tech. That's the
Mm.
5 second. Explain it like
What's a
I'm
program
five.
manager?
I manage programs.
Is it like computers or is it phones or is it like a nest in your home? And then is it like really old people or is it like six? I don't know. Like, what is an
Oh yeah, the
older
age
person?
range.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Actually, older adult is like the PC term to describe like an old person or an older person. So you know how like in media you hear about like seniors or like, oh, I'm
Mm.
having a senior moment. Well, senior is not really like a term we use anymore. And actually the
Oh,
proper term to use is older adult. And that
Got
ranges
it.
from anyone over 65 and over. And
Okay.
that's just an older adult.
I called my
oh.
mom an aging person.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's actually really good too. Like that's like a
Is
nice,
it?
really way to put it. But I mean, we're aging, like you
We're
and
all
I are
Yeah.
aging
aging.
too. Yeah, so it is.
That's helpful.
Don't
So,
call Kathy names.
so call her an older adult. And then what kind of tech are you helping implement? That sounds like such a noble like thing to do because I've tried to
Wow.
help my mom with her phone and I get
Oh my
so
gosh, yeah.
impatient.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Patience is definitely a soft skill for sure. But basically, like I work on a team that partners with different tech companies. So that could be like startups that have different software or actual hardware for older people, all the way up to like big organizations like Amazon that have products that may be viable for older people. And they actually come to us because we manage and operate all of these retirement communities all across, namely California. And so we interface with older people on the daily. And so specifically, I work on this team that then works with these companies to then test their products with
Mm.
our residents and our older adults. And so the actual like name for the industry is age tech. Now like
Mm.
everyone's like fintech or like what
Mm.
other techs
Age
like,
tech.
yeah, so there's all these different like techs now, and it used to be called other things, but like age tech is kind of what stuck. And
Mhm.
so to further, I guess, like give you examples of different types of tech, it could be literally anything. So like there's like a smart cane that
Oh.
somebody created where like it counts like your like steps or like it measures like gait or balance. There's things like things that you wear that monitor like your heart rate. It could even be like as simple as most recently there's this new little what we call robotic pets, and it's like a
I
little
thought it was like
it's
a
Like
cute,
a
like a
flute.
flute.
yeah,
What we call
like a
robotic
recorder.
pets, and it's this tiny little like bird, and it's pretty low tech if you think about it, but it just like chirps and sings, but it's meant to sit on top of a walker so that a resident
Oh.
who doesn't like using like an older person who doesn't like using their walker because they for whatever reason don't like using it because it makes them feel old or they don't like it or they forget, it like attracts them back to their walker and they can use their walker more. And it's called a walker squawker. Isn't that so cute? So yeah, just
So cute.
like it ranges a lot. But then yeah, I just
I'm
basically
imagining
like,
right now the like that Brookfield store. Is it Brookfield?
Uh-huh.
That
oh,
in like the
Brookstone?
Brookstone, Brookstone. That's what it is. I'm imagining like a Brookstone of obviously like a theoretical Brookstone of like all these
Yes.
different like products and services, and so you
Yeah.
help get those like into the hands of the right people.
Exactly. And then also
Mhm.
to inform a lot of these startups and these organizations how and why it's important to like create and continue creating these technologies for older people. Because I think most
Mm.
of the time we see tech, it's made for people like us, right? It's like I always use the term of like, oh, usually tech is made for the 27-year-old white male.
Yeah.
But that's actually not true. If it's made for people that really need it, that makes a big difference. So yeah, that's
Is it
been a
usually, I know we're
long-winded
like,
way.
I know we keep talking about it, but I'm just so like intrigued. Is it
Yeah.
usually like companies like are already creating something that is, you know, for that audience, and then, you know, you come in to help, you know, implement it or like distribute it or whatever it is, train people? Or do you also play like a consulting role where if there is a tech company where they don't have that in mind yet, but you're like, hey, like, this is what you can do to be accessible to this whole like generation of people. Like, is there
Yes.
like a mix of those?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So sometimes we get like startups that'll reach out to us to say, hey, we created this thing for an older adult. Can we see if it makes sense? So we'll do different pilot tests and different things like that to see if it's viable. And then there are other times where we feel like, oh, somebody, so I'll use the Amazon example. Like Amazon, I think we all know what an Amazon Alexa is. It's like this little smart speaker that you can talk to, it talks back. And we saw that when it first came out, and we saw this crazy opportunity for an older person to be able to like ask what the weather is or ask what time it is without then having to walk over to their wall clock, right?
Mm.
Or turn on a light instead of having to go across their room and potentially fall. And so we saw the opportunity there, and then we did a pilot with just at one community. We just tested it out, and then we wrote a report, and literally the next day Amazon called us and was like, hey, holy shit, what are you guys doing? Like, we want to be part of it. And
That's so
now,
cool.
yeah, it's really cool. And now there's actually an organization within Amazon that does things for senior living. So that's
Wow.
something that we started partnering with them. Like it's been a little while now. But yeah, so like to answer your question, it's kind of both. So like it's
Mm.
both these companies that are creating things specifically for older people, and then sometimes it's like something really random, but we see the opportunity, and so we'll reach out or we'll do something, and they'll kind of end up partnering with us.
Very cool.
Can I ask
I
another
never knew
question?
that.
This is gonna be like
Megan has a cool job.
Yeah. Cuz like I like generally I can frame like what this person does off the bat, but like this is like a category or like an industry that I only know you work in. I don't know anyone else who works in this space, but I know that like you went to school for this. How did you decide to do this type of work?
So I went to grad school for gerontology, which is the study of aging. And I went into school, and if you watch a video that Christina had
We'll link
released,
it.
when was that? Yeah, we'll link it
Find
below.
K Choi on YouTube.
I basically went to school to learn about the study of aging, and I went because I was kind of like on this clinical track, and I thought I was going to be like, you know, go to med school or do something more clinical and help older people. But then I actually found age tech. I mean, it was called gerent technology back then, which clearly would like didn't
Jaren
stick. Yeah, it's a
technology.
lot. And so then I found that, I mean, it doesn't, it makes total sense though. Like now that you hear it, it's like, yeah, of course older people can benefit from tech. And so
Mhm.
yeah, so then I think it kind of just like went in that direction, and then this is part and parcel to what I do. But I think actually to Christina's question before about like consulting, so you're right, Christine. There like really isn't a lot. There aren't a lot of teams like the one that I'm in, and so part of the work that we do is like we actually go out and we consult for other organizations that have and house older people to then create like teams where they can understand and pilot test and have different programs around introducing these types of technologies to older people. So that like that's
Mm.
one part of the hat.
Helping
So
make it
like
more sustainable. So it's not just
exactly.
all on you. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's cool. You're
And so
so
there's like
cool.
all of these different things. I know. That's why
So
I can't
cool.
leave. So cool, Megan. That is so cool. That's why I can't leave.
cheers to Megan and her really cool
Aw.
job.
Thank you guys. Cheers. Cheers to older
Cheers.
people. We love them.
Yes.
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
Okay, what about you, Christine?
Me.
Oh, that
I'm
was
not
so
What about you, Christine?
me. I am also a manager, but not a program manager. I am a product manager at a fintech company. And what I do simply is if you open up your favorite app to send money to your friends, there are a bunch of different features and they don't come from they don't come out of thin air. Someone builds them and someone has to prove that they work and that they're valuable to customers. And so in the process of building these products and features, I manage the whole cycle of is this worth it to deliver to customers, managing how it's built based off of all of the other factors that go into building this technology. And then lastly, delivering it to customers to make sure that it's implemented well and that this product or feature is success.
Whoa. So because it deals
Does that make sense?
yeah,
Whoa.
but I was like, whoa. Wait, but because you deal with because the technology deals with money, are there just like a lot of regulatory things that you have to jump through? It's not just like, oh, I created this thing where like I can make your photo be cute or something. It's not like
Yeah.
something simple. There's
Yeah.
actual regulation. Is that
There's
true?
a lot of it. Like, I think that the fintech industry is under a lot of scrutiny, especially by regulators. And so, whenever we launch a product, there's a bunch of people that we have to get buy-in from, and legal is a part of that. So we have all these like checks in place to make sure that whatever we're launching, it's like good for the customer and that it's going to be beneficial and that we're not breaking any laws. Yeah.
And then
Mm.
like the features, I think like some of because I on my YouTube channel, I did an interview like with someone who she's a product manager, and so I learned like a little bit like high level about that role. But the features, does it range from like from my understanding, it can range from like a single like button and like what the button looks like and does to like does it range to like bigger kind of things or like what are some examples?
Yeah. So in my time at this company that I work for, I've definitely worked on switching the words on a button. And that makes a huge difference because people are confused. Like, what does this actually mean? So clarifying the user experience is one aspect of the job. And then another part is like finding product market fit for a larger feature. Ways that the company can introduce larger features to customers, that takes a longer time, but it definitely does range from these small minor UX tweaks and then also these like larger product features or even enhancements that take a lot more time and investment, and you have to like that requires more research because it has more investment on like the engineering side. You have to like do a lot of cross-functional stakeholder management, and then in terms of introducing it to market, like you have to market it like heavily so that people know about these features. So it does range from these small features to like a whole new section in the app or a whole new tab in the app or a whole new app in itself. So I think like the company that I work for not only exists in the app space, but also exists outside in like the real life space.
Like
So there's a lot
like
of different
physical
teams working.
payments
That, yeah,
or
yeah.
like browser? Oh,
Um,
okay.
there's like in-app payments. There's you can pay businesses, you can pay people, you can go in
Oh, I see.
person and pay for things at like the like the point of sale device. They also
Like
sell
trying not to
products.
say-
There's so many things.
What?
Huh?
Christine's like trying not to like say too much, but like also trying to like answer the question.
Can you feel that? Like I'm like holding back from trying to expose where I work. But anyways, in a nutshell, like if I were to summarize it, yes, it's like small and big things and a lot of things in general.
Small and big things and a lot of things in general.
Is that
really
specific enough for
wow.
you?
That's a politician answer right there.
It's just like anytime I even just like in these two examples, like just the range of types of jobs there are out there and like how deep you go into them is just just wild to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
all these
also
like
like,
industries exist.
yes.
Mhm.
And it's also so fun to hear like your friends who like you get drunk with on the weekends.
Yeah, and then like
There's a
hear
serious
their
They
side
like
to
have,
dork
you.
side.
yeah,
Yeah.
they have like full-fledged like professional jobs and they get
Yeah.
shit done and you're like, what?
So I'm always curious of like, ooh, what would it be like if I like worked with one of my good friends? Because like you've always like I've had like work besties where like you became close friends at work, like you met them at work and you
Mhm.
became close friends, and then maybe even after you left, you're still friends. But I've never like been good friends with someone already and then like worked with them. So I'm
Yeah.
so curious
Yeah.
like what that dynamic would be like. But yeah, it would
Yeah,
either be
same.
like either you'd be like an all-star duo team or like you'll just
Mhm.
be completely distracted and not
Yeah,
work at
yes.
all.
Yes.
But okay, should
Christina, what do
I?
you
Okay.
what do you do,
All
Christina?
right. Okay, I will go next. My job, I at the highest level, I just say I'm a change management consultant. And then when I go into it a little bit more, it's like if a company has a change or a strategy or a culture that they want to implement or just make it happen throughout the organization, we help them do that. And we help them do that with workshops and films and like very creative, artistic, engaging ways. So the company isn't just like holding a town hall and going through 200 slides and then saying, okay, now go off and do your thing. So yeah, that's the highest level of what I do.
I can't
Mhm.
imagine how difficult that would be because
Mm.
like just at like a life human level, like we all know how difficult change is. But
Yeah.
then to take that and like in like a professional setting, because you can't just be like, bitch, change. Like it has
Yeah.
to be like really like it has to be professional and like you said, like very
Mhm.
creative and like all of these things. So what is like the one like really low hanging fruit thing that teams, so maybe not organizations, but like a team can
Mhm.
do to implement a certain change? That's like so
Mm.
vague, but if you just had
Yeah.
to take like
I
one thing.
mean, I'm going to respond to it with like a very theoretical thing, which is just people need to understand the why behind something. That's like the main
Mm,
first thing. And so it's usually like the why, the what, and the how. But like usually we just skip to the how of like, here's your new job,
yeah.
like this is your description, like go work with these people, or we just skip to the what and the how, and we don't take time to talk about the why. And so that part is like the most important part because if we always say this, we have this like there's this quote, I actually don't know who it's from, but we always use it, is people will tolerate the conclusion of others, but they'll act on their own. So like they'll listen to like what other people
Oh.
have concluded and what other people with all this research and whatever, like they'll listen to it and they'll tolerate it, but ultimately they're going to do what they think is right or what's best for them. And so you always have to talk about the why, and it's not just telling them, but it's like having them have the conversation and kind of discover it for themselves. So that's where things like workshops come in, where they're like they're presented with like all the right information, but they're like talking through it together. And then they're like, oh, wow, like, so this is going on in our industry right now. So it totally makes sense that we need to do something. And then it's like, okay, yeah, so what is that something? Here's the what. And then you like can go through that. And then like once you know that, then you can get into like the details of like how it all actually happens. So that's the main thing
Mm,
is the why. Going
wow.
back to the why.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Also, it's so funny because I feel like, I mean, Christine probably feels the same way, but like we watch every single one of your videos.
Yeah.
So like I feel like I'm like maybe I know a little more than the layman of like what change
Yeah.
management consulting is. But yeah, it's always like really cool to hear. And it totally makes sense because like imagine changing something at an organizational level, like you just have to figure that
Hmm.
out. So
Yeah.
Very cool. We're so important
Professional.
and we do such professional things.
The business speak was just like flowing out though. It's like
I know.
I need to like wash it out with some beer.
Oh
Cheers.
my gosh, yes.
Cheers,
guys.
Let's go to Icha. Ooh, I'm excited for this round.
Okay, so the question we want to dive into for Icha is, if you had another job, right, other than like what you're doing now, what do you feel like it would be? And I guess like it's in relation to like, what other job do you think you would be actually good at? Ooh. Well, I feel like we all three of us have like side things that we do kind of creatively. So I
Something
guess
other than that, maybe. Because like we all do have our side, like, you know, Instagram, YouTube, blog, etc. But maybe if it's like, if we had another kind of like corporate or 9 to 5, maybe not like limiting to corporate or 9 to 5, because you could be like owning a company or like a business. But yeah, something other than our side hustle that we already do.
Ooh, that's a curveball.
I had a friend text me after she listened to our I Hate Myself episode from season 1. And then she said, I haven't finished listening to episode 3 yet, but I did listen to your fatal flaw and I relate so much. And my fatal flaw, I think it has to do with like me always needing to be right or like wanting to be correct about things. And then she said, you would have made a great lawyer, but maybe it's also good you didn't go to law school because this profession encourages that trait, or you become the world's best litigator.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I thought
I
that's
could
what
see
you
that.
were going to do after we graduated college. I was like, yeah, Christina would be a really good litigator.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
Yeah, I feel like that is the dark timeline of my life or something. It's like the alternate dark timeline where like I went to law school and became a lawyer.
Yes.
Used my powers for like bad capitalist companies or something like that.
Be a Slytherin.
Yeah. So that's one, I guess, that someone else you know, observed after listening to our episode.
Can you imagine what samcha would be like if you were
Oh my god. I probably wouldn't even have time to do
Yeah,
samcha.
that's true. That's
Right?
true.
That would be so sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also like Dane is a programmer and sometimes I'm like, I wonder if I could be a programmer. And then he does say like, because I'm detail oriented, he's like, I think you could like, you would be good at it.
I could weirdly see that too.
Yeah.
But you're more like people. I feel like, I mean, I'm totally, this is like a total generalization, but I feel like programmers are like, they're computer in themselves and they're like, you know, whereas like you're more like people, being around people kind of a thing. That's why I feel like a lawyer would make total sense.
Ooh, yeah. Kind of scares me to think about that. Yeah. What about you guys? I'm trying to think myself too.
Yeah.
For you too.
I feel like, the one thing that came up again through samcha was like my voice. What if I was like a voice actor?
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
I could just like, you know, I don't know, be a voice actor. That could be kind of fun.
Yeah. No, and also, like a voice actor or just even like an actor in general, because also like you're like, you have the height and like I remember when you,
the presence.
Yes, exactly. Like your vlogs that you did, like Megan also like dabbled in vlogging when she was in like grad school. And then there was one vlog, link in bio. No, just kidding. No, but I remember one of the vlogs, I was like, dude, Megan, like, you need to keep vlogging. Like, this was so good. Just like her camera presence and her voice. So, oh yeah, totally. I could see that.
Oh, wow.
I think Megan needs to go in some improv classes this year.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Classes.
That would actually probably be good just for like in general. Cause like, could you, that's so scary. That would put me in like such an uncomfortable, but in a good way.
Yeah.
I'd want to do something in food though.
Oh, yeah.
Like something in food.
I can see you as a farmer too.
Like, please.
Literally a farmer.
Please.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Like a professional forager.
Mhm.
That'd be so much fun.
Oh, and then you'd like have like you'd lead like mushroom foraging tours, and
Over my
then it's
voice?
like, and then it ends with like a cooking. Oh, and it's like the tours where sometimes the tour guides have a little mic and people have headphones. So like when you're far away, so you're literally like whispering into the mic and like, okay, and so these mushrooms over here, like blah blah blah, and then after you forage the mushrooms, you lead them in a cooking class and eat the mushrooms by a campfire.
What kind of mushrooms are we talking about? Because this
All
is going in a
kinds.
very different direction.
Every kind.
All kinds of mushrooms.
That sounds like everything that Megan is in
Yeah.
like
Just
in
now,
cap.
but I
Yeah.
want but I want to get paid for it.
Yeah.
Okay, I pay for the service to have like someone's soothing voice in my ear as I'm like in nature looking for mushrooms and like someone telling me like the
Yeah.
backstory or why I should be eating this type of mushroom. Yeah, it sounds
This
terrible.
is really sad because in
I
my
know.
alternate world, it's like a lawyer or a programmer. Megan is like a mushroom foraging tour guide
Goddess.
actor extraordinaire.
Wait, we need to like dig into this though. Like, I feel like that is like one part of it. We just like scratched the surface on what you could be.
Surface.
We just like threw out
Yes.
like some
Yeah.
certain labels, but like
Yes.
when I think about Christina, like your humor is like on
Yeah.
another, like it's in another universe, and I feel like something you can do something with like comedy or like writing.
Oh, that would be cool. Like writing.
Yeah,
Like
something
for
with
for
writing
like a
for
comedy
sure.
show or something.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be really cool.
You have like really,
I feel like Megan would also be
Uh-huh.
because I know Megan, you were gonna go into like medicine. I could see you being a really good like healthcare provider, doctor, like whatever. Yeah,
Ooh.
just because like
Be
you have the compassion, but then you're also like you can
go
share
home.
like like
You
confront
don't need to
people
be
and like
here. I'm just kidding.
share what they need to know, like but then
Yeah.
still do it with empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Very cool.
for
It's
sure.
like we're giving each other like corporate versions and then
Yeah.
like, creative versions.
We need the balance. Okay.
Oh my
What about
gosh. Okay. What about
Christine?
Christine? This unicorn over here. Okay.
I
Let's see.
know.
Oh my gosh.
She could be literally anything in the world.
In like in a sense, I feel like corporate wise, I feel like you could also be like a lawyer. Because like there's this thing about you kind of like you getting what you want type of a thing. So like you have like a master debater.
Yeah.
I love saying that.
Master debater.
Yeah.
Master debater.
You have like this like that vibe. So I feel like maybe
Yeah.
corporate could be that direction.
Yeah, I can see that.
But in terms of like creative, but that something that you're not currently doing, even as like a side hustle.
Ooh, like a interior design.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Or like a museum curator type of a
ooh,
vibe.
that too. That would be cool.
Oh.
Museum curator, art curator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a Korean
She just like
museum.
yeah,
like a
she like
Hanok or
travels the
something.
world, like
Yes.
looking for these like artifacts and like or maybe, and then
Yeah.
curates them
I
into
love
like
that.
a really cool gallery.
Yes.
Yeah. Even like right now, her
Totally
vibes
see
with the
that.
glasses and like the
Exactly.
slick back hair.
Yeah,
And then she'd wear like a
exactly.
really funky coat. Like
Mhm.
Yeah. I love
Yes.
that. I love museums. I love like when I did my renovation project, that was like one of the things that I had like the
Mhm.
most fun with in terms of projects that I've taken on.
mhm.
I can see this
think
world coming together.
even like for the interior design, like if Christine were like a host of a show, like she would be so fun and funny
Yeah.
like in the show. I would love that.
I feel like you would be some sort of expert in something. Like I could see you being like an expert in like tea or something. Like let's say
Like in those documentaries, like there's a documentary about something, and then Christine's one of the like people who are
Yes.
talking. And it's like
Yes.
Christine
and like they
tea
can tell you
expert.
yes, like everything about tea. Like I don't know why I chose tea for some reason, but like one subject matter and just like
Yeah.
diving deep.
I
could
love tea.
totally
Yeah.
And then it's like you would have like
what do you
tea
what do you love?
themed.
Like I love
You would have,
drinking
like-
tea.
Yeah,
I love
you would have,
drinking
like-
tea. I love matcha. That's like my whole like thing that
Yeah.
I'm doing in Korea is like
Oh my
Yeah. Or
god.
Christine would be like the next green lady of Brooklyn.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can see her easily going on like a television show talking about all the shades
Yeah.
of green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could do something like that too.
Yeah. What am I doing?
What are
Why
we
am I-
all doing?
Why are we not
Wow,
doing
look at
these
all these
things?
possibilities for ourselves.
Hey, it's never too late. We can
Yeah.
have like a second coming to like our lives.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And
We're
just
only like I was talking about this with my friends, and I think like when we think about our careers, like the 20s were our freshman year where we're like trying to figure out our major.
Mhm.
Did I heard you talk about this?
Mm-mm.
No, right?
Mm-mm.
And then the sophomore year is like where you decide which major you want to, like if you don't know, like you
Yeah.
decide which major you want to pick. And then junior and senior year, like junior year is like developing your craft, learning more about the space and kind of like mastering it. And then senior year is like when you pass down the knowledge and also being the expert or like proclaimed expert in the space. So I was talking to a friend about this, and I like think that like life is long, and you can you can explore different spaces while building on your previous experiences, but it's like never too late to pivot, because like why be stuck in something that like limits your like full potential, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Damn.
We gotta change that narrative starting from right here. Right here, right
Today.
now.
Wow. All right. Well, cheers to that.
Wow, cheers to that.
Cheers.
Samcha.
So you know how there's this quote that says something like, do what you love and you won't work a day in your life. What do you guys think about that?
I don't remember like if I had written a blog post about this like in like really early in post grad or like somewhere, but I had put somewhere out there like that I don't like that quote, and I think it really should be like, it's not like do what you love, but it's like find what you're good at. Is like more of the gist of what you should be going for. It's like not so much like what are you passionate about and like what do you love? Like maybe there's some overlap, but I think it's more like what are you good at? And find a way to incorporate that in your work if you can. And I think in that way, then, you can find some joy because it's like you're using your skills like in a productive way. So that's kind of like my twist on that saying if I were to kind of make it my own personally. Yeah.
Yeah, that actually makes so much more sense. Yeah. I think like the sentiment, like the point of what that quote is, I think is generally really good. And obviously, like, you want the thing that you're good at, the thing that you're passionate about, and then the thing that you're getting paid for to all like be perfectly aligned and make sense. But I'm like kind of learning. I don't know why and when, but like I think in the last like maybe even it was pretty recent, like the last few months, I've kind of been thinking about my day job and like the things that I also love to do like on the side and things like that. And also thinking about this quote and thinking about how like the person who has all those three things aligned is super lucky and super privileged as well. And so sometimes those three things don't align. And sometimes you just gotta make your bag in whatever way that you can. And so like that's okay if your day job isn't like your passion, or like if your day job isn't necessarily even something that you're good at, but you just have to do it because it pays the bills, then it is what it is.
Like you said, it's a nice sentiment and like it's coming from a good place, and it is something that is very aspirational, but it's not like achievable or realistic for a lot of people. Some people or a lot of people, or maybe it is, but it'll take a really, really long time. And it's just, it is unfair to have that expectation, especially when you're like just graduating from college and you're like, I need to find like my passion and like make that my job. I think that's where it's like the most harmful,
Yeah, for sure.
I think like I was like having a career chat with someone when I was working at like an old company, and he was talking about how people base their career decisions on like a few like major factors them being like your pay, your title, what you can learn, and then the people that you work with. And so when I think about like doing what you love, like it's not like that wasn't a part of the equation. It was like there are aspects of your career that can be captured in like what you end up loving to do. So it's like, does it pay well? Are you working with people that you love? Are you growing in this space? And then is this like the type of identity that you want to take on? And I think that like for me, like the most important part is like, is this something that I want to grow in for the rest of my life? Is it interesting work where I feel like there are elements where if I get promoted into a new role, like I'll be able to take on new learning opportunities? And is this something that I want to do for the rest of my life? And I think that's like where the love comes in. But it's like, that's how it's been like segmented or like framed for me. But I do agree that it's like, if someone were to work at like a fast food restaurant, are there like learning and growth opportunities in this space? Can you like reframe it in that way? Because people like, I like as human beings, like we're not like stagnant, and we're always going to want to become, I think like we all want to try to become better people, better versions of ourselves. And that's like what like the career growth aspect is, or where the career growth aspect comes from. So that's like one way to think about it. But it's like in a job, you're not going to love every part of it.
Yeah.
Like realistically,
it's still work.
Yeah. It's like, you're like, maybe if I worked at like a restaurant, I loved working at the restaurant, but I'm not going to love like having to stand on my feet all day or like there's like trade-offs. So it's like being able to isolate like those parts of like the good and the bad. I think it's like a super limiting statement because like there's a lot of blind spots in it. But if you like flesh it out, it makes more sense, I guess. And then it's also like the aspect of like, does it give you time to like step aside from your career? Or is it like all encompassing into like every dimension of your life? And that's like, there's more to human than just their careers, right? So it's like, how much space do you have outside, or how much does that, like how much like mental space does this career afford you? It's all like all grown up things to think about.
Yeah. And there is like
but
something
fun things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's like masochistic in a way, but like there is something nice about the like, oh, it's the weekend and it's like that is my like time to like do whatever I want. And then it's like, but then you've got like, you know, you're dedicating the rest of your time to work, or it's like if you like take your vacation days and it's like you can fully unplug. I'm probably just like comparing that to like, you know, then if you're freelancing or like running a business, like it kind of bleeds into different areas of your life. So I personally do like, again, there's aspects you like and hate, but there is a nice thing about like having the security of like a 9 to 5 corporate type of job, and then like being able to enjoy those times that you get time for yourself. But you know, compared to other countries, we get like nothing. So that's where I'm saying the masochistic part of it comes in.
We have to build in our own freedoms and our own side hustles. How did I know it was gonna just get real deep, real quick, real fast?
You know what's also crazy is that like our parents, they just like had a job and they didn't really like
just stayed for like 30
my dad
years
golfed on
like,
the weekend. Cool. Yeah. But like for us, it's like we have a full-time job and we're like doing so many other things.
Yeah.
Like
and like job hopping too. Like just like going from job to job. I mean, but like I've been at my job for like 5.5 years now, which is like the most I've stayed at any company. I think Megan's been at her job for a long time too.
Yeah, I think it'll be 6 years in September. And that's kind of long for
us,
people, people in our cohort,
Yeah. Wow.
I feel like we need a cheers right there.
I know.
A sigh, and a cheers
to our careers.
Whatever it may be.
You know, making a living, being on this earth, having some fun.
I do want to say though, like when I think generationally, like I am the first woman of my line, in my like matriarchal line, that like had a long standing career. And I feel really lucky for that.
Never thought of it that way.
My mom had like a job before she got married, but she became like a full-time stay-at-home mom. My grandma didn't have a
Yeah.
job. Like I'm pretty sure that the women in my line were just kind of like mothers and caretakers of home. But I feel like working is hard, and there are a lot of challenges that come with being like financially independent, but I love that so much. I love like being able to own and define like what my career space is. So I think that's like really cool, and like I feel lucky that like I have friends that I can talk to this about, and like you both are exploring spaces in different industries, and we're all kind of like navigating this space for the first time ever in like our women's line. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but we get to like, have all these like fun, cool spaces to explore and make money off of it.
What a
Because
positive
at the end of the
spin
day,
right there. It's
all we want
about
is money.
money.
So
there's
contact us at
happiness and time.
samchapodcast@gmail.com to sponsor the next episode.
Honestly,
Honestly,
do it.
Yeah. Call
Yum.
us.
On
I
that
liked
note,
it.
money.
Money. Call us. Bye.
This is your voice actor opportunity.
Here's my debut. Everyone find us at Samcha Podcast everywhere, basically. Find us on Instagram. Email us, samchapodcast@gmail.com. And then also samchapodcast.com, right, is our website. So check that out. Tell us if you see any typos. Let us know. And we love you. Goodbye and good night.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.